Alright, boys and girls, today's lesson is lesson 6-3, the partial quotients division algorithm, part 1. We'll be working on this, we'll have 2 lessons in unit 6 that has to do with partial quotients division, but I'm sure we'll be working on this a lot more than that. It's tough, but it's just a new strategy in how to divide big numbers. So you should be able to say at the end of this lesson, I can identify and use multiples of 10. We've been working with that. I can add multiples of 10. You all know how to do that. I can subtract multi-digit numbers. You can do that already. I can apply extended multiplication facts to long division situations. We will be doing that. I can solve equal grouping division number stories. Alright, so first thing I want to do is I want to go over a couple important vocabulary words. Now, when we did multiplication, we knew that when there was 2 digits multiplied to get an answer, these were called factors. And this was called the product. Okay? So basically you multiply 2 factors by each other to get a product. And we learned something called partial products multiplication, where we found parts of the product and added them all together on the side to get the actual product. Okay? Well, partial quotients is very similar to that. You'll be finding parts of the answer to get the whole answer. So partial quotients sets up like this, almost like it's a big number in the garage and there's another number outside. Well, the number on the inside is called the dividend. Okay, the dividend's the big number. That's the number that's getting divided by the divisor. Okay, so the divisor is what is going into the dividend. So the divisor is the number that is going into the dividend. And the answer you get is called a quotient. Okay, so I'm going to show you how to do partial quotients to add them. You'll add all partial quotients together to get an answer. So make sure you write this down in your notes. Okay, so I'm going to erase. Actually, I'm going to erase all this. I'm going to keep that same number, 127 divided by 7. I'm going to write it over here. Because we'll give you sheets at school that for the test that are easy for you to work out, but when you draw it yourself, you're going to take the dividend and put it inside the garage, this is what I say. The divisor will be on the outside, and then you're going to take the garage and bring it all the way down like that. And then you're going to put a line there, kind of skip a couple spots, line here, skip a couple spots, line there, skip a couple spots, line there. This will all come to you easily here in a little bit. First thing you're going to want to do is very similar to lesson 6-2, where you're going to think to yourself, I wonder how many times 7 can go into 127. So if you don't know offhand, you might want to just work with a 10. Okay, 10 is always easy because you multiply a number by 10. It's pretty easy. So 7 times 10, I'm going to put 10 there. Okay, that's where the partial quotient is going to be. Gives me the answer of 70. I'm going to put 70 under the dividend, and I'm going to get a new dividend. I'm going to take 7 minus 0 is 7, and then 12 minus 7 is 5. Okay, this is always subtraction here. Okay, in order to get to here, you multiply the number you're putting here by the divisor. Okay, so now I have a brand new dividend. Okay, because I have partial quotient, I have part of the answer there right now. So now I need to figure out how many times 7 can go into 57. Well, I know 7 times 5 is 35, so I'm going to play it safe. I'm going to go 7 times 5, and the answer would be 35. So this is always subtract. So 7 minus 5 is 2. 5 minus 3 is 2. Okay? Next, I need to see how many times 7 can go into 22. I know 7 can go into 22 3 times, which is actually 21. 7 times 3 is 21. Here's my 3. And then there's my times 7 to give me 21. And then you have 22 minus 21. It gives me the answer of 1. Anytime your new divisor is smaller than your new dividend is smaller than your divisor, you're all done. This would be a remainder. Okay, so I know I have my remainder of 1. So now I'm going to take all my partial quotients I found and add them all together. 10 plus 5 plus 3 is 18. So 18 with a remainder of 1 is my quotient. So 127 divided by 7 would equal 18 excuse me, with a remainder of 1. Okay, let me do another one for you. I'm going to erase this and get another one. Let's do 5 as the divisor, and we'll do 363 as my dividend. Okay, I'm going to draw my lines here. Drawing the lines are kind of the most important thing, because if you don't give yourself enough room to nicely subtract here and nicely add over here, then you're going to run into problems. So I'm going to do 5 times something, okay, because 5 can go into 363. I'm going to say 50 times, because I know 5 times 5 is 25, and you put the 0 on. So I'm going to say it can go in at least 50 times. That'll give me 250. So then I subtract, but you always make sure you line these up properly, so you add it correctly. 3 minus 0 is 3. 6 minus 5 is 1. 3 minus 2 is 1. That gives me 115. Now I have to see how many times 5 can go into 115. Notice I'm getting partial quotients over here. So I'm getting my answer off to the right, just parts of it to add up, because you all know how to add. So I'm getting them to add up. So 5 can go into 113 how many times? Well, I know 5 times 20 is 100. So I'm going to say 20 times will give me 100. Okay, so now I have to subtract. I get 3 minus 0 is 3, 1 minus 0 is 1, and then 1 minus 1 is 0. I don't need to do anything. So now my new dividend is 13. So how many times does 5 go into 13? All of you should know 2 times would be 10, 3 times would be 15. 3 times would be too big. So I'm going to say 2 times. So 2 times 5 is 10. Gives me a 3 with left. 3's left over. This 3 now is smaller than my divisor of 5, so therefore it is now my remainder. So I'm going to put my remainder out over here, and then I'm going to look at my partial quotients I got by doing all this multiplication and subtracting and all that fun stuff, and I'm going to add my partial quotients. So I have 50 plus 20 plus 2 is 72. So, so 72 with the remainder of 3 is the answer of 363 divided by 5. Okay? Let me do another one. I'm actually going to put one up here for you. I'm going to do 4 as my divisor, and we're going to go, we'll go 143 as my dividend. Okay, I'm going to draw this down, and then we put the lines over here. Notice these lines, I'm extending the lines out far enough to sit my partial quotients on to add them up. Okay, I want everyone to try this on their own. Okay, so pause it, try it on your own with what we've learned, and then watch me do it at the end. Okay, so hopefully you thought about, first thing you said, I wonder how many times 4 can go into 143. I always like working with tens. Tens, it doesn't hurt to work with tens. So I'm going to say 4 times 20, because 20 is a 10, 2 tens. 4 times 20 will equal 80. And now I'm going to subtract 80 from 143 to give me 3. And then 14 minus 8 is 6. Okay, so now I'm at 63. Now I know 4, now we have to wonder how many times 4 can go into 63, because that's my new dividend. So 4 times 10 is 40, so let's go 10. 4 times 10 is 40. So now I would subtract the 40 from the 63, give me 3, and give me a 2. So now I have 23. So how many times can 4 go into 23? Well, I know 4 can go to 20 5 times. And when you subtract it, you're left over with 3. And now this number is smaller than my divisor, so now it is done, and it is a remainder. So I have a remainder of 3. And I add all my partial quotients that I got by breaking it down little by little, and it gives me 20 plus 10 is 30 plus 5 is 35. Okay, I'm going to do one more with you, and then I'm going to send you on your way to work on... Actually, I'm going to send you on your way right now. So I want you to go back to your desk, and work on pages 144 and 145 in your math journals.